Hey guys, this is Mal from 14 Rings and NFC East podcast. And this is a really exciting day because we're actually going to record my first solo episode of the NYG Weather Report with Mal. So this will be a episode that is dedicated mainly to Giants fans, but if you guys want to continue to show support, make sure you follow me and the guys on all of our socials, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page at 14 Rings NFC East podcast. And my co-hosts Maurice, Earl, and Lucas have also released individual episodes about their teams as well, so give those a look if you want to hear everything regarding the Commanders, Cowboys, and Eagles, everything within the NFC East division. As you guys can see, I'm repping my New York Knicks today. Won that last night, but we're not here to talk about the Knicks, we're here to talk about the Giants, and we're here to talk about the 2025 schedule. So this season's going to be interesting, guys, because we were the third worst team in the league last year and have the hardest schedule on paper. So this is going to be a real test for the Giants to hopefully get back on that winning side of things, and it won't be easy based on some of our opponents. So, we'll dive into it a little bit more, but we have the normal opponents, the Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders twice. Those are our interdivision. We'll always play those twice, but some of our other matchups are not as ideal either, but anything can happen any given Sunday. We don't know how good every team will be when it comes time to start the season. So let's get into it a little bit. One thing I will say, the Giants do not have any international games this year. They will be staying close to home. But the two key matchups that I wanted to highlight, our opening week is going to be the Giants versus the Commanders in Washington, D.C. And our home opener will be on primetime at MetLife Stadium, Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs. Yay. So I see the league didn't really want to throw us a bone there, but two really exciting matchups, two really good teams. I think the first week is going to be a test of, the red-hot Washington Commanders, how the Giants and their changes will match up against Washington. In the end, our games at Washington have always been pretty competitive. Both teams have been in the basement for so long, but now the Commanders have taken that step with their new quarterback, Jaden Daniels, who had a fantastic Offensive Rookie of the Year season last year. So I'm interested to see how the Giants' new defensive line, adding Abdul Carter, really gets pressure on Daniels, especially now that the Commanders have made some drastic improvements to their offensive line. So that's a key matchup there. The home opener versus the Chiefs, that's always going to be exciting. Taylor Swift in the building, Patrick Mahomes, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, one of the most successful coaches in the league, Andy Reid, and just an overall successful team who is trying to continue their run for another Super Bowl. The Chiefs have been dominant for years. This will be a true coaching test for Brian Daboll. So I'm interested to see how this new team can match up against a powerhouse like the Chiefs. Now let's get into some of the other matchups. So the Giants this year, like I said, will be starting against the Commanders. Week 2, we will be at the Cowboys, which is a tough matchup for us. We have not beaten the Cowboys in a very long time. So at some point, that drought has to end. We'll see. The Cowboys have gotten better on both sides of the ball as well, especially on offense, adding George Pickens. So that'll be a tough test for our corners and our secondary as a whole. That game is then followed by the Chiefs on primetime. And then the next week after that, we will be playing Justin Herbert, John Harbaugh, and the Chargers. Another, decent team in the AFC West, just about how the defense can match up to the offense of the Chargers, especially now that they added Amarian Hampton. So we'll see how things go there. October 5th, 1 p.m., we will be playing the Saints. The Saints are going to be an interesting matchup considering their quarterback situation. So it'll be more to come as we see them play earlier in the seasons and who their starting quarterback is actually going to be after Derek Carr announced his retirement. October 9th will be another primetime game versus the Eagles. Eagles, defending Super Bowl champs, always have a hard time against them. We've got somewhat more competitive with them over the past few years, but in the end, that game's going to be a tough one. It always is. And what a more iconic matchup than Philly, New York. We then will continue on to the Broncos at a 4:05 p.m. game. Broncos had a very good season last year, heading to the playoffs with Bo Nix and Sean Payton. So there'll be another tough matchup. And to highlight that, we are playing the entire AFC West this year. That includes the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Raiders, and the Chargers. After the Broncos game, we come right on back for another Eagles matchup. That's actually my birthday week matchup, which is weird. The Eagles-Giants matchup has been on my birthday for the past few years. So I would like to win that one, but you never know. Like I said, it's the Eagles defending Super Bowl champs. It's going to be pretty tough for us, but we'll see how it goes. Then coming up on that, we play the 49ers. The 49ers this offseason have kind of cleaned house a little bit with their team. A lot of trades with Deebo Samuel leaving, heading over to our division here to play with the Commanders. But the 49ers had a little bit of a rough season last year. I fully expect them to work on picking that up, but I think overall this will be a really good matchup to kind of watch. I think it'll be a very competitive game. Coming up after that, we have the Giants and the Bears. Caleb Williams, the Bears made a lot of offseason moves, a lot of addition to their offense, so I think the Bears are going to be better than they were last year. I think they're trying to keep up with the Lions, Vikings. I mean, the AFC North has been a pretty powerhouse division the past 2 years, so I think they're trying to, get their name in the mix there. This is where we start our AFC North run, since that is an NFC North run, where we now play the Packers the week after. Packers have been a good, consistent team as well. We shall see. We then play the Lions the week after that. So as you guys see, we have a trend that this is going to be a rough run here. After the Lions, we play the Patriots, who have worked on getting better. They did get some O-line help. Drake May will be in his sophomore season, so I expect him to fully clean up a little bit. And with the Bills in that division, I expect actually, and this is my hot take, I think the Patriots will be in contention to be the runner-up in that division. I think the Jets, and the Dolphins are a little bit of a toss-up, but we have our Patriots matchup, and we will see how the improvements on both sides of those teams come together. We then head back to our division to play the Commanders. Like I said, as this week one, Commanders had a really solid season last year. Jaden Daniels, Offensive Rookie of the Year, added some really good pieces, so I expect them to be better as well. But like I said, Commanders-Giants is always a good matchup. I expect nothing less from this one. We then finish our NFC North run with the Vikings on December 21st. Like I said, Vikings, are a little uncertain right now with losing Sam Darnold, and, they're going to be most likely running with J.J. McCarthy if he's ready to start the season. I'm very excited for this matchup because I'm interested to see J.J. McCarthy in action, interested to see how he matches up against the Giants defense. And I think this will be a good one as well, where we then head into Giants versus Raiders. Raiders made some changes, signing Geno Smith, drafting Ashton Jeanty. I think the Raiders are going to be a team to kind of watch in the AFC West this year, but this will be pretty late in the season, so we'll have a pretty good gauge on how that team altogether shows up week after week. And then we will end the season versus no other, the Dallas Cowboys. This could be the point of the season where either the Giants are out, Cowboys are in, both are out, or both are in, or a deciding factor game. Cowboys-Giants is a classic matchup. It hasn't really worked in the Giants' favor, but we shall see. More to come. So after breaking down this schedule, it's tough on paper, guys. It's hard to sit here and, think of my predictions, which we will get into in another episode of 14 Rings when we get closer to the season. But I would say right now, the toughest part of our schedule is probably the first half. I mean, it's very subjective when it comes to the Vikings, the Patriots, the Raiders. It's all going to depend on situations where how that team comes together, how we come together as a team, what's working, what's not, injuries. But the schedule is very top heavy when we start with the Commanders, Cowboys, and Chiefs. That's a tough 3-week stretch. We have to get through that at least winning at least one. Otherwise, it's not going to look too good for the season. Thank you guys for listening to the first episode of NYG Weather Report with Mal. Promise you guys I will be releasing more of these moving forward now that we're going to, kick up with training camp and preseason and into the season. That way we can talk more Giant stuff. But if you guys want to continue to support us, please follow us on all platforms, 14 Rings and NFC East podcasts, and we'll be looking forward to you guys listening to us every Wednesday moving forward. So everybody have a great day, and go Giants and Knicks.